Hello, and welcome back to the CouchSide Sports Report. I'm Simon, that is Dylan, and this is episode number 32. I can't believe we're still doing this.
We are.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
As you can see, no paper here today. I couldn't print them off today, and Dylan's printer decided...
We're struggle city today.
Didn't want to work, so we're on our phones. We're not antisocial.
To be fair, it's probably more
Convenient.
efficient and convenient.
It is.
But also, sometimes you got to go back to the old school.
At one stage, I'm probably going to end up on TikTok accidentally while doing this podcast, but hopefully that isn't the case. Today, not a lot on, but still some things of note. All Blacks obviously played Australia in the last Rugby Championship game.
True.
NFL is in full swing. The NRL Grand Final was last night. And also we've got various other results from around the world.
True.
You've got the Aussie NBL, you've got the Premier League in England, you've got the F1, and you've even got the Black Caps, which we'll talk about later.
Yes, and the White Ferns as well.
Exactly.
They're playing at the same time.
At the same time.
I feel like...
But in different countries, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Different time zones. But Dylan...
Yes, sir.
How's it going, mate?
I am good. We've both been very busy.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about at the end of this podcast. But yeah, no, I've been good. I'm ready to talk some smack, some shit, some sport, as we usually do.
Of course.
But no, I've been good, man. Actually, yeah, Sunday was a big day for me. I was pretty much working from 7 to 7.
God.
On 3 to 4 hours sleep because I stayed up to watch the All Blacks game.
Yep, I mean...
But you got to do what you got to do.
Wouldn't have been the only person to do that.
No,
so.
absolutely not. So, no, I am excited to get into this, as we usually do.
So am I.
But how have you been as well, mate? Because you took a trip this weekend.
Oh, I did. I went down to Tauranga.
Yes, sir.
Saw my first ever cricket game in person, saw the Black Caps play. We'll talk about that later, obviously.
True.
Which was a bit of fun. Caught up with some mates, had a good time, and back here.
Ready to go for the week.
Ready to talk some sport after a long work day here for a nice little sport catch up with my good mate Dylan.
There we go. Oh, you're so cute.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, we'll get straight into it, man. And I'll do the intro.
Go for it.
This first one, for the Aotearoa local sport. And of course, the biggest thing that happened this past week was the All Blacks versus Wallabies in the last Rugby Championship game in Perth. And before we even start talking about the rugby, Australia, stuff you for playing the game in Perth and it's starting here at 10:45 at night. You could have played Sydney. You could have played Melbourne.
Unfortunately.
You could have played Brisbane.
Well... Unfortunately, it being on the same weekend as the NRL Grand Final, which was in Sydney and featured a team from Brisbane and from Melbourne, maybe not the best idea. Although they didn't know that when the game was announced, it was going to be a Brisbane-Melbourne final.
Yeah, true.
But still,
but at the same time, it's a massive place.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on.
Perth is great, though. You know, it just happens to be far away.
Very far away.
Far away from everything.
It's like, I'm pretty sure it's like an 8-hour flight.
It's like
from
a 6-7 hour flight.
Yeah.
When I was looking at flights, because I thought I was going to go to WWE Crown Jewel, which is like this weekend.
Yes.
And that's in Perth. The flights were going to be long and they're going to be expensive.
Yeah.
But that is this weekend. Forgot about that.
Yes.
It'll be weird kickoff times as well because it'll be in Perth. It'll be
exactly.
It'll be like probably like it'll be a late start for us. But before we get sidetracked, All Blacks Australia in Perth, the final Rugby Championship game for both teams.
Yes.
Not the final one for the whole tournament. We'll talk about that later. But the All Blacks, decent. I guess decent.
Yeah.
Decent is the term.
Of course, I know there's people saying in comment section and stuff being like, oh, that was an excellent win, stuff like that. I'm not sure I'd call that an excellent win.
I wouldn't say it was a
decent win though.
It was decent. 28-14 final score.
Yeah.
Definitely some players putting in performances of note. Basically locking down their place in the team for the foreseeable future.
You would think.
Players who did not do that and have caused even more tension within the All Black supporter base as into who's going to be in what position.
Yeah.
But this game, because I watched the first half of this game on my phone at the Bay Oval and also in the car going back from the Bay Oval.
Yes.
And got home just as the first half finished.
Yes.
But from what I knew is that, from what I can remember, is that we definitely still have stuff to work on. The breakdown was still not great. I think Australia are just a team who are really able to affect the breakdown.
I will say that I think the reason we're losing the breakdown, so to speak, is because Australia are being very aggressive towards it.
Yeah.
Only problem is they may be beating us at it, but they're being too aggressive with it, and it's getting them in trouble. So Yeah, so yes, they beat us at the breakdown, but I think it was almost to their detriment at times, especially in the second half of this game.
But it's almost like how, our scrum could be really good, but we're still going to get smacked by South Africa. Even if our breakdown was good, it feels like that Australia are probably just going to be at that next level. It's like how our line-out seems to be better than most teams at the moment, or has been this year, with the likes of Scott and Fabian and Tupou and whatnot. But first of all, Leroy Carter, 3 tries in 3 games since becoming the All Blacks starting winger. I don't think anyone was expecting that lethal of a rate, and he's just doing, like you said, I think, on previous weeks, he is essentially Sevu Reece if everything Sevu Reece, all the extra things he attempts to do, worked.
Now, I will say, at the same time, I don't want Leroy Carter to start trying too hard.
No.
Because that's why I think Sevu Reece gets caught in too much. And yes, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing.
And I don't think
need to be able to just play through the flow of the game more.
From what I can see, I think he is good at managing that, because I didn't get that sense that he was trying too hard at times. But also on the other wing, Lester Fainganuku, who was an unexpected naming at left wing, I think he was good. He played well, obviously. I think it was going to be very surprising if he didn't. He's just came off a season in France, 2 seasons in France, where he's been playing probably in the world's best competition. Coming in here, definitely looked all right on the left wing. It's going to be really interesting now, because I think, personally, there will be a wing battle there. I know Leicester's only had 1 game there, and I know Caleb's only had 1 game here this season, but had last year to back it up. But those two are probably going to be battling for that same left wing position. I don't know if you put either of them on the right, or Leicester gets considered to be a centre going forward.
Yeah.
But I think that is going to be a real place of contention.
I think Leicester's battle isn't with Caleb Clark.
You think it's in centres?
No. I personally think there's no battle with Caleb Clark. Because, and I've said this before, and yes, I've been critical of Lester Fainganuku's play. At the same time, he's a great option to have.
Yes.
He's definitely got the power there. And the thing that Leicester can do, I think, better than a lot of centres at the moment, especially, but most of our wingers, is he's a better defender.
Yeah.
So he's got that power. He's got that defense there. But I've said as well, I think for a winger, he's quite one-dimensional. Like, it's the power game, and if he's got space, like a lot of space, then there's speed there, a little bit. But I wouldn't say it's anything out there speed compared to Caleb Clark, any out there power compared to Caleb Clark.
Yeah.
The thing that Caleb Clark has over any other winger we have right now
is the high ball.
So to me, unless Caleb Clark is injured, to me there shouldn't be a competition there.
And that's the same feeling I have as well, but I just know back on this performance and the fact that Caleb hasn't been 100% fit this All Black season, that they're going to have this battle, which shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
like it's.
I'm not. I mean, Leicester played good, but not good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that depends. I think a lot of people were really impressed. Which I was like, I kind of get it in some areas, but it was just any ordinary good wing performance.
That's what I'm
not to discredit, because I'm pretty sure he did score.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Actually, no, he didn't.
He didn't?
Nah,
he almost did. But he did bump off he bumped off Swali, which was...
Yeah, he played his power game.
He played that well.
Yeah.
But I also think, in my head, I'm like, well, Caleb needs to get another shot, obviously, when he's back from injury.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put all your laurels on Leicester. And a lot of people saying, fancy what happens when you bring in all these Crusaders players into the team. I'm like, well, first of all, Leicester hasn't been a Crusaders player in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Second of all, Quintu Paia plays for the Chiefs.
Yes.
And third of all, what other Crusaders players have been added apart from Leicester? He hasn't played in the Crusaders for 2 years.
I think Leicester's real battle
is 23.
Is 23 with Rieko
and
Ioane.
I would possibly take him over Rieko Ioane right now at 23. As much as I hate to say it, because I love Rieko.
Yeah. I had this conversation with a guy at work who is a Crusaders fan.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said to him, the real battle I think is between Leicester and Rieko at 23.
Yeah.
So I looked because I want to see how close they were in age. Leicester's 25 still.
Yeah.
He's about to turn 26.
Yes.
Rico's 28.
Yeah, Rieko is...
So I could, like I said, I think both having Leicester and Rieko, there's fantastic options for us, but I could see a scenario where Leicester might play the 23, but I don't think he should start at 11. And I'm going to talk about this after. Definitely don't think he should start at 13.
No, well, it depends who's at 12.
Yes,
obviously, and also who's available in the centres. I don't know if you saw, but Tavatavanawai supposedly is going to be fit for the Northern Tour. I didn't think he would be. I'm pretty sure I read he's going to be fit.
Is he like superhuman or something?
You probably just found Waisaki Naholo's leg doctor from 10 years ago. But I'm pretty sure I read that he's fit, which sounds a bit ridiculous because he was like basically ruled out until the end of November, which was like the end of the Northern Tour.
And I could see, I mean, yes, you'll want to get wins, but I could see Razor getting a little bit more experimental.
Absolutely.
With the squad. But speaking of centres, we've got to talk about Quinn Tupaia's performance while you search this up.
Yes.
Quinn Tupaia was at number 13. I think he played fantastic. He's more
than just fantastic.
Yeah.
I think
he played excellent.
I think it was a game that everyone remembered that he is still here. He's still here as a viable All Blacks option because 3 years ago he got his World Cup dream derailed by Darcy Swain.
I've said enough about Darcy Swain.
We don't
on
need
this podcast.
we don't need to say that again. So he barely played 2023. Last year he was still coming back a bit.
Yeah,
and people were still going on. He's still got it, and we're like, yeah, I reckon he does. And he probably would have been potentially starting centre at the last World Cup if he hadn't gotten injured.
Could have been.
Obviously, Rico and Geordie held that down, but you never know what would have happened.
Yeah.
But now he's came back. He's been great for the Chiefs. He's been great for the All Blacks when he's played.
Yeah.
Obviously, he played well the week before.
Yep.
He's played very well this week, starting at 13. I think this is probably better than any performance Billy Proctor's put on a black shirt. I don't think that's hard to say. I know he played well against Fiji, but again, we're comparing Fiji to Australia here.
I mean, that's actually not necessarily the worst comparison between teams at the moment.
It's not, but at the same time, I think Australia are in a lot better place. Than they were a few years ago when you would have said I couldn't find anything about Tavatavanawai. I may have been daydreaming, but I swear I read that today.
Can I just quickly off topic about this Wallabies team? If this Wallabies team can find a leader in their backfield, their back line, and a number 10, that team is dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that. It's like I've been very impressed by the improvement of the Wallabies since last year.
Supposedly, Carter Gordon's foray into NRL is coming to an end. He was coming through and then decided to go to the Titans last year. I think he's played one game or something. Apparently, he's going to come back, and he was a 10. Who, if he had a little bit more time, I think would be probably in the same areas the Edmeds and the Liners and the O'Connors who are currently playing it.
Because Edmed had an average game.
Yeah, so, he's not a bad player by any means. But
I mean, Loloseo's also injured.
I forget Loloseo exists.
Yeah, Loloseo is injured.
Next, you're going to tell me Matt Tamua is still available, but I'm pretty sure he's retired.
No.
But I think Bernard Foley's still playing, but I don't think they will call him up. He's old, but he's around.
Where?
Probably Japan with Quaid, I assume.
Oh, bloody fair. Quaid Cooper was very, very critical of Tane Edmed's performance on social media, but he always is.
Quaid's you tell you the honest truth from what I can tell with his comments. But you're right, like a Big 10 for Australia could change it. I recall someone like showing like, oh, this is how I think we're going to line up at the World Cup with Mark coming back. And do you know who they put at 10?
Who?
Nathan Cleary. I don't think he's swapping.
No.
But if they did convince Cleary to make the switch, he'd be a leader. Would he be the best player? I feel like you grab one of the best players in rugby league who's a half, he's probably going to do an all right job at 10, especially if it's someone like Nathan who's won four titles in a row. Obviously, it's a completely different ball game. But apart from Nathan, I can't really think of any other like big NRL converts they could make to bring into 10. There are some very talented halves in the Australian teams, absolutely, but what one of them would you specifically go, yes, I'd want you at 10? You'd probably say Kalen Ponga, but as far as I'm concerned, he's off the table. I think A, because of contract, and B, he wouldn't play for the Wallabies.
No.
If he was going to Union, he'd be playing for the Kiwis.
Yeah, going for the All Blacks.
I can't think of any other Australians I've forgotten who are not in Australia right now because they can select any of them.
But they trust it looked like they were like a 10 and at least under Joe Schmidt. We'll see under Les Kiss when Les Kiss comes in. But under Joe Schmidt, they looked like they were a 10 and another second leader away from being a really, really good team.
And I don't think
they beat South Africa.
Who can't you can't like? Well, I'm trying to. Let me actually speak.
Yeah.
He's obviously quite young, but you'd imagine someone like Swaliti would eventually be some sort of leader because he's so young but so experienced at the same time.
I mean, that centre combination of him, and Ikito and Ikito, that could be a very good centre pairing as time goes on.
I think it will be. It's probably their centre pairing heading into the World Cup.
Yeah, you'd think.
You'd assume. Although they might want Swaliti at fullback if players are injured. I think if Tom Wright's back, Tom Wright's at fullback.
If Tom Wright's back, Tom Wright's at least the form he's been in.
Exactly. And you'll have Jorgo on the wing with
who I think is better on the wing, but can play fullback.
Who was he playing on the wing with?
So you've got two options for me. You've got Corey Toole.
He's real speedster.
And you've got the magician,
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
That's right. A lot of people complaining about Harry Potter.
I don't know why. I thought he didn't play too bad.
I think there were a couple of moments I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not great, but like nothing which I was like, oh, concerning.
But they clearly got depth there. They've got clearly depth in outside backs.
And they're kind of in a situation where they kind of need their best scrum half to stay fit because Tate McDermott's a big part of that team.
Yes,
Obviously, the likes of the other guy, Gordon.
So Jake Gordon started. Lonergan was his second game.
Not bad effort for your second game, honestly. No. It was a shame to see Will Skelton go off of HIA after 15 minutes because... he's such a big player for them.
That's an enforcer right there. Him and Valentini
got him off from on loan essentially from France for that game. But then going back to us, because I don't think we've spoken that much about the All Blacks in this performance.
No, we kind of went quite off topic. We were on the centres.
We're on the centres. And also, I think... centres, I think we said what we need to say. I think Tupai is probably the first choice 13 at this point. Don't be surprised if Billy gets another shot.
Yeah.
I think in terms of a second choice 13, third choice 13, solid. Like, he's a player who deserves to get called up based on the super form because you do have to pick players based on super form at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some players you're going to get something else with the All Blacks. Like, there's been players like that previously, but you can't put all your eggs in that basket because there is a chance that they just don't. Yeah. And you need to take a chance on the players performing well in Super because they can't perform well at another level unless they leave the country and we look like idiots.
True.
I think with Australia, how they're now selecting players from overseas, I have a feeling that those noises might get a little bit louder here now.
I think those noises are loud already.
I think we're going to get even louder to the point where it might... I don't know if it will change before the next World Cup because I think the one player of note is Richie. What will happen is that there's no way Richie is playing for the All Blacks in October next year. It's before October. We know this. We know Leicester got added to the training squad months in advance. He even played when I read that he wasn't able to play, and he did anyway. So I'm pretty sure we will see Richie probably. I'd not be surprised if we're in South Africa next year at the tour and Richie's in the squad. It would not surprise me at all.
No, I wouldn't be surprised by that
because
either.
they'll do something. Because it's not an official competition, because it's a tour, we don't actually have to pick by our normal eligibility rules, so we can pick Richie. Yeah. And I would not be surprised. And I wouldn't be upset as long as he's played well, which he will play. He's won 2 titles already in Japan. He won the last one with a broken hand. Like,
True.
He'll be fine. But speaking of 10s, Mackenzie, a lot of people, felt like all the people who would usually be pushing on Facebook or wherever, like he needs a chance at 10, saying, we don't want him at 10 anymore. And I was surprised by the amount... I was
surprised by that too.
By the amount of people who were like, time's up. And I'm like, you guys all look like the same people who were pushing for him to replace Bowden. I think a lot of people were not kind of realising how much Bowden does, and you don't see it. Well,
here's the funny thing, right? Because I didn't think Mackenzie actually had a bad game at all.
I don't think he played...
And do you know the reason why?
Why?
And this is where I think people come in and saying, like, nah, he's no good at 10.
Yeah.
You know the reason why? Because he didn't do too much.
No, he just did what he had to do, and I don't think it was any... maybe the kicking, because the people getting really rocked up about the kicking.
I was about to say, that's the first time. I'll give Mackenzie credit for this. This is the first game in an All Black shirt this year year where he didn't have a good goal-kicking game.
I think that is something we do need to fix. Like, I don't know who it is who's going to magically become a better kicker. But also on the same...
Geordie Barrett?
Maybe. on the same...
Geordie Barrett does fucking everything. That's something I'm going to address to end this.
On the same point as D-Mac, Ruben Love did come on, but once again... not playing in any position.
They put him on the wing again, bro.
Why are we putting him on the wing? He's clearly a player who we want to play in either fly half or fullback, because he could be either Will Jordan's like constant backup or the successor at 10. We see how good South Africa play with a 23-year-old fly half. The same with England with Finn Smith. Yeah, we need to give Ruben the chance. We need to actually give him the chance. I was expecting him to get a cameo in this game. I think he probably gets a decent shot against Wales. At least, you'd hope so. Maybe he gets thrown into it earlier on, although Bowden will be fit for the next games. Yeah. There are a couple of players who won't be fit for the Northern Tour, and we'll talk about it, but we won't go too much into depth, because it will turn into an hour-long All Black prediction video. But, yeah, D-Mac, still a solid 22. I think people need to realise, though, what they're getting themselves into when they're asking for certain players to start. Yeah. It's like, you asked for this. This is what you get. You get... And I think Damien played a good game. It's unfair that people are now slagging him off. It's like, well, he's doing everything that Bowden did that you did. Well, not everything, but like playing very similarly. Yeah,
but the reason they're saying that is because they want all the flash plays. Because of
course.
Look, we're fans. Like, they want the flash plays because they think that's what will win us games. Well, there are some times where we've thought that probably in the past, but that's just not how you win games.
It's hard to win.
Played his role to win the game. But, I thought he had a fairly good game.
Fortunately, I think of how South Africa's playing right now, a lot of the stuff they sometimes do is flashy, and obviously they're winning games at the moment. So fans are putting two and two together, saying, "Oh, South Africa doing this," but at the same time, South Africa can be the most mind-numbing team to play, and that's why they win their games most of the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think South Africa actually do anything flashy at all.
No, it's just...
But they win games.
South Africa's speed, I think, kind of correlates into... Many people think it's like a flashy thing. It's not. It's not
basic.
It's not super flashy, but I think it's because they're winning games. People are getting hung up on it a little bit, which it doesn't surprise me too much.
And I guess to end the All Blacks discussion off, otherwise we'd do this for an hour. First thing, like Simon said before, the two players we know that are out because they posted about it on Instagram is Tupou Vaa'i. He's out with a torn meniscus for the rest of the year, and then Tyrell Lomax is also out for the rest of the year. So we may one person we're definitely going to see more, and I'm very glad it's Fabian Holland.
Yep.
And Patrick Tuipulotu off the bench as well. I'm sure we will.
Those three are locked in for most match day squads.
I presume so. Then we'll see more Fletcher Newell and Pasalio Tosi as well, which Fletcher Newell actually hasn't been too bad. So, but also to end it off, I'm seeing a lot of comments being like, Quinn Tupaia at 12, Leicester at 13. That's our centre combination. Let's build from that. People, I have one question. Who's going to pass the ball?
Who's distributing the ball?
Who's passing the ball? Which is why I've said, and I know Quinn Tupaia was great at 13, and the one thing he did bring, which I think we missed, although I think we miss it more because of coaching, not because of players, is he created penetration. Yep. He's a guy that will break through and will run you over.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, on the field, even though he is quite a big guy, he doesn't necessarily look like the biggest guy in the world.
No.
But he is a big guy, don't get me wrong.
Oh, he is.
So he created that, which I think Billy Proctor hasn't done, but has potential to, I guess you'd call it. But I'm going to say it again, and you can go back on podcast, and I think it's close to happening. Quinn Tupaia, move him in one spot. Let him back off the 10 and create the penetration from there, and then put Geordie Barrett at 13, who can do everything else he does, because not only does he play 12, he moves backwards when there's a high ball coming, and look at the catch he made against Suaalii. My goodness, guy's a freak. At the same time, who else is giving a headbutt assist on a try, except for Geordie fucking Barrett?
One of the greatest tries. I saw it happen, I was like, ain't no way that's hit his head.
Yeah.
I was like, please don't tell me it grazed his hand, and it didn't.
No.
Which was one of the greatest.
Freak, bro. know.
One of the greatest tries I've ever
And there's
seen.
people saying it's rigged that he keeps getting selected and to get him dropped. You guys are stupid.
No, it's the Barrett curse.
But he can do all of that at 13, and the thing we've missed at 13 is distributing the ball out wide. Because when we've got the ball out wide, even against South Africa, against Argentina, against the Wallabies especially, we scored tries from that. So, Razor, I'm sure, and fans, be careful what you wish for, because if it's Quinn and Leicester together in a centre pairing, which we could actually see, because I think we'll see some, experimental things.
We'll see some rolls of the dice.
But you ask me, who's going to pass the ball? Who's going to pass the ball? Anyway, before and actually to properly end it, I want you to tell me one thing in terms of team selection you want to see on this Northern Tour that we have coming up in November. One thing, team selection wise.
Make logical choices.
No, you got to give it more specific than that, mate.
I think that's pretty specific. Like, logically, make sure you're actually picking someone in a position where they make sense to be playing in that position, and it makes sense for us, short term and long term, to play in that position.
Okay.
Like, don't play start Ruben Love, but don't start him on the wing.
Yeah.
Like, play DMAC, but only start him at 10 if Bowden's not available and it's not a game you want Ruben Love to start. Okay, sure. We don't really have many of our options at 10. But yeah, that's all I have to say. If you're picking players, make sure they're in the right position. Rico, play him at 13 or 23. Don't try to put him on the wing again. I think that happened. They realised, nah, not the right move.
Because when he came on in this game, he played at centre.
Yeah. And I think he did standard Rico Ioane stuff. Yes. You know, what we come to expect from him.
Yes.
And the most obvious ones, like, just logical. Logic.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. One thing from me, I literally just said it. Quinn Tupaia at 12, Geordie Barrett at 13. At some point, I'm going to see it. I think it's actually going to happen on this Northern Tour.
I hope it does.
I don't know why the All Blacks are so forced in keeping Geordie Barrett at 12 instead of maybe just moving him out one spot. But I really think that would work. And I've talked about this for how many months now. So I'd love to be able to see that.
How long have we been doing the podcast, mate?
Yeah, but at the same time, yes, I completely agree with you. Make logical choices. And we're logically going to move on because we've already talked too much about this.
We're going to breeze past this.
To the All Blacks and Wallabies and move on to some more sport. Well, you were at this game.
But first of all, I didn't prep you on this because I forgot, but you've been requested by a loyal viewer of ours.
Amy?
No, another one.
Who?
To do a formal apology.
A formal apology from me?
From your comments about cricket in the last podcast, Liam was very upset and has requested...
Can you remind me what I said again?
So you said, and I quote, "You better bring a pillow."
Nah,
and Liam
I did say that.
And Liam was very insulted.
I did say
that you would criticise the great game of cricket, and he's requested a formal apology on this episode because
how awful that I would criticise something.
I know it's almost like it's what you like to do.
Hey. Well, guess what?
What?
Liam. Did we meet Liam at the All Blacks game?
Well, you did meet Liam at the All Blacks game.
Liam, I love you, man. I'm a good guy. But in terms of apologising, that's not going to happen.
Oh, no.
That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And the reason I say that is because he's taking that as I disrespect, like I'm disrespecting cricket. We're here talking sport.
Oh, yeah.
We love all sport. And I respect the game of cricket. I've watched cricket my whole life. I played cricket when I was younger. But at the same time, let's be real, T20s, a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a long game.
Oh, it is.
It is a very long game. And that's why I made the joke, although there is some truth in it, like every joke, to bring your pillow. And also, let me say this. Did he come with you to the game?
No, you did.
You brought a blanket.
What, to sit on?
It doesn't matter. You brought a blanket.
To sit on.
All you need is a pillow. You still
it was raining. It was raining at the Mount.
Yeah.
We're not going to get wet butts.
Yeah, fair enough.
Although my shoes were off at one stage. It was great.
Yeah. But, Liam, I'm not disrespecting the game of cricket, but at the same time, bring your pillow.
And we've just lost a quarter of all our listenership. But yes, the Black Caps welcomed Australia for a trilogy of T20 matches at the Mount. The first one we lost quite handsomely. The second one was rained out. And the third one was on Saturday night where... it was because I'm not much of a cricket aficionado, and it was the first game of cricket I've seen in person. But we actually almost had a shot at winning this. We had an all right first innings.
It looked like we did.
We didn't get... I think we were...
Did we bat first?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had the chance to put the score up.
156, which we knew was probably not going to be enough against Australia. But all of Australia seemed to struggle, except for Mitch Marsh, who went 103 not out and carried Australia all the way to that win. He was sensational. But... Jimmy Neesham was very good for us on the day in terms of bowling. And it was just a really great time. Like, it was a decent crowd. Everyone's having fun. We had the sledges behind us just yelling at everyone. Like, quite personal insults.
Is that right?
Yeah, a lot more personal than a rugby game or even a Warriors game. So that was quite interesting. But it was a good time. It was a great time. We could have played better, but we could have played a lot worse. And unfortunately, I don't know much about cricket to have any formal opinion on how well we played. But there were some great hits there and some great wickets and some great catches. But it wasn't the only...
At some point in this podcast, we'll get an extra mic and we can bring people on that are better.
Liam is coming on when we need a preview. I know there's a T20 World Cup next year and a normal World Cup the year after if we're still here, if Liam's still here. So, you know,
absolutely.
We'll see.
It'll happen.
It'll happen. But also, they're not the only cricket team from New Zealand playing. The White Ferns are at the Women's World Cup in India at the moment.
Yes.
They lost to Australia in their first game quite handsomely by 89 runs, but they play South Africa as this podcast is being recorded after this podcast has been recorded at 10:30. So next week
so Monday is Monday.
It's Monday.
We're recording on a Monday.
It's Monday.
They're playing the Monday.
Of course. And then they also play England on the 18th at 7:15.
Yep.
1 day a game, so long games. But that's it for the cricket. I don't really have much more to say.
No, and I said all I need to say to Liam. Liam, I love you, my brother, but at the same time, it is a long form game. Doesn't mean you shouldn't disrespect it.
Oh, no.
And I didn't either, but bring your pillow.
As we move on to the NPC's final regular season round, and some great games here, and it meant a lot for the table.
Yes.
The first one had nothing to do with the playoffs. North Harbour at their last chance getting their first win of the season over Southland 15-14. They still finished last in 14, but Southland only a place ahead of them in 13.
Yeah.
Auckland smashed at home. Enough said to Otago 17-51. They finished the season in 12th. Otago do finish second. Wellington get a narrow loss against Bay of Plenty, 26-33, missing out on the quarters, finishing in 10th. Bay of Plenty finishing third. Waikato beat Northland at home, 25-19. This puts Waikato in 7th, and Northland unfortunately just missing the quarterfinals in 9th. Manawatu at home, defeated by the Hawke's Bay, 38-10. Hawke's Bay finishing 4th, Manawatu in 11th. Tasman go down at home to Counties, 41-49. It means Counties finish in 8th and Tasman in 6th. Canterbury.
Shout out to Dalton Papali'i, baby.
Shout out to him. Canterbury dominant win over Taranaki, 34-14. Canterbury top the table. Taranaki 5th. In your quarterfinals next week, you have second place Otago playing 7th place Waikato. You've got third place Bay of Plenty, first and 6th place Tasman, which I think will be an insane game.
Yeah.
4th place Hawke's Bay taking on 5th place Taranaki, always a good rivalry between the two. And then first place Canterbury taking on 8th place Carnies Manukau. Come on, the Steelers. Get the win.
Come on, the Steelers, man.
Get in.
Let's go.
I probably need to watch those games, watch the finals. And then speaking of provincial rugby, the Farah Palmer Cup final was on Saturday, and Waikato defeated Canterbury at home 19-13 to go back-to-back in the Farah Palmer Cup. Congratulations, ladies, on another provincial success. As we move on to a game I watched, and Dylan did it because it was at the inconvenient time of 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday. It's the NRL Grand Final.
After I had work from 7 to 7, by the way, like I said at the start.
And had work at what time this morning?
So my first alarm was at 4 in the morning.
Ah, God. Get some sleep, mate. But the NRL Grand Final in Sydney, the Melbourne Storm making the final for the second year in a row, and the Brisbane Broncos their first final since 2023. Both of those teams had lost those appearances against the Penrith Panthers, who weren't here. And this was a great game of rugby league. A very, very, very entertaining, great game of rugby league. Tries from the very beginning. The Storm took took a decent halftime lead, but you knew the Broncos weren't out of it. There were injuries all over the park. Aaron Reynolds, unfortunately, had a calf issue in the second half and had to come off. What's his name? Ben Hunt basically...
knocked himself out. Not knocked himself out.
Got knocked out and was stumbling afterwards, and Reece Walsh had to cradle him because he's like, nah, you shouldn't be playing right now. But this was a game and a half, and it was... I mean, you had sensational individual play from the likes of Reece Walsh. I feel like...
Who won the Clive Churchill?
Well-deserved. Defensively, he's not talked about as much. But in that game, he was just insane defensively.
I mean, look at the tackle he made. I think it was against Pappenhausen.
Yeah, right at the end.
Right at the end. They get a breakaway. He's the only one there and times this hit perfectly. And boy, did he need to. The big play. I mean, whether you like Reece Walsh or not, because I see a lot of overrated comments.
I mean, that goes for like all of the Broncos.
Yeah.
If you like this Broncos player or not.
Yeah, but that's but clearly bullshit.
Yeah,
because he stepped up for this game when he needed to. He like at this point from what it sounds like, from the performance he put on, he's good.
Well, he was always good.
I mean, by good, I mean like. There's got this the criticism of being overrated is gone.
Oh, he's not overrated. And he's been named in the Kangaroos team for the first time as well. So
exactly,
he's definitely
crazy that's first time as well. By the way,
I always forget how many good players are on rugby league because you think of someone you're like, oh, they've never played for the Kangaroos. How haven't they played for the Kangaroos? It's quite funny.
True.
But other players, Payne Haas, immense as usual. Yeah. I mean, he's crazy. As controversial as he is, I think his Ramam was played very well as well, coming off the bench. And
did he come off the bench?
He's been playing 14 at the moment.
Oh, fair enough.
Which, because Ben Hunt can play hooker or any of the half positions.
Yeah.
Both wingers for the Broncos were very good. The Storm, I think Munster was as good. Jerome Hughes had a bit of a quiet game.
He scored though, right?
He did score.
Yeah.
Jerome Hughes, I think he did as well as he could.
Yeah.
Because he's playing with a broken shoulder, I think.
Jeez.
Which is nuts. But that was for the Broncos, sensational. Their first win since 2006. Their team on paper is insane. They kind of had the win, and also their coach, Michael Maguire, this year wins the NRL Grand Final with the Broncos. Last year, he won State of Origin with New South Wales. The year before, as Kiwis coach, dicked Australia 30-0.
Well earned.
It's been a crazy 3 years for him. All from a guy who got sacked by the Tigers of all teams a couple of years ago. So I bet they're probably crying into their,
Tigers,
into their Frosty Flakes, or
their Frosty Flakes.
The one type of cereal with the tiger mascot. But that's as much I think as I have to say about NRL. There'll be International Rugby League for us to talk about at the end of this month. We've got the Pacific Championships. Australia are in England for the Ashes. So there'll be a bit to talk about there.
Yep.
Nothing too much. As we move on to Dylan's. Well, actually, no, we'll do this one quickly because it relates.
Go for it.
There's more than just the NRL Grand Final on Sunday for Rugby League. The NRLW final was on. The Broncos beat the Roosters, who are undefeated. So congratulations to the Roosters. It also announced that one of their halves and Kiwi Ferns international Gail Broaden is on her way to the Warriors next season.
Oh, let's go!
As it was her last game. Also, I forgot her last name, but Kiwi, I think former Black Ferns international Millie is on the Broncos team as well. She's an absolute unit.
Oh yes, yeah.
Absolute unit. Playing rugby, playing for the Broncos right now. But also, the New South Wales Cup winners, the Warriors, took on the Burleigh Bears, who were the Queensland Cup winners, in the state championship. And this game was, well, apparently, from what my friend told us, it was actually quite a close game, but the Warriors just scored with every single opportunity they had and went on to win 50 points to 20. I think they led about by 30 at halftime.
Tough.
This New South Wales Cup team will probably go down in history as one of the most overpowered New South Wales Cup teams of all time because they were able to roll out guys like Bunty and guys like
Shout out to Bunty because where's he going next year?
I don't know, but he's leaving. That's
he is leaving. Shout out to Bunty, man.
Great season for the New South Wales Cup team, full of a lot of guys who were on the fringe of the first team and played decent chunks of the first with the first grade because of injuries. But shout out to the Warriors as we move on to a bit of basketball, the Aussie NBL, and you already told me you don't really want to talk about the New Zealand Breakers, but you have to mention them at least once.
Yes.
So why don't you get us started, Mr. Courtney?
Yes, sir. So, first game of round 3 of the ANBL season. The Cairns Taipans played the Adelaide 36ers and got pumped by the 36ers. They won 110-79.
That's the Bryce Cotton team, you know.
Yeah, man. Bryce Cotton, he moves from the Perth Wildcats, doesn't lose a step.
Nah.
Crazy. Speaking of the Perth Wildcats, they played against the Illawarra Hawks and won.
Oh.
They haven't really lost a step either.
No.
They won 92-84.
They're always decent, the Wildcats.
They're always decent. They're always a top team.
Yeah.
Speaking of always a top team, especially recently, Sydney Kings, they played the Breakers. And the Breakers lost to the Sydney Kings 97-75. I know it's early in the season and it's 3 games in. I would say if he loses the next 2 games or even the next one, Koppinen, our coach, was on the hot seat. And I think it may be well deserving. But I will say, one thing that I did want to happen is then, and that was the Breakers start our other import, Rob Baker III next to Sam Meninga, did actually happen.
Oh, shit.
So there you go. And then the last game of the round, a close one, the Bullets losing to the Jack Jumpers by 2.
Yeah.
84-82. Like I said, Koppinen could be on the hot seat very soon if the Breakers keep playing like this, because the Breakers have way too much talent to be able to be doing this. And I hope it gets better as a Breakers fan. With that being said, however, I'd still love for us to get to a game.
Oh, yeah. We're going to at some stage. We just got to figure out which one works for all of us.
That's a very good point.
What time, what day, where.
Yeah.
So probably have to be a home game, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No, well, it's not like we can afford to travel to Australia.
No,
at the moment.
We'll go. We'll watch us play Perth and Perth. Easy.
Yeah, big facts.
Good road trip.
Oh, stuff that. But we move on to some more basketball as well to end off the Aotearoa sport. The Tauihi Women's Basketball Aotearoa Round 2. First game, the Tauranga Whai beat the Southern Hoiho 89-74. And then the Tokomanawa Queens take down the Mainland Pokai 81-69. And then the Southern Hoiho again played the Northern Kahu and pumped them, unfortunately. Although I'd still like to get to a Northern Kahu game at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
The Hoiho beat the Kahu 96-69. And that is the end of the Aotearoa local sport as we move on
to the international
sport, where I know every Liverpool fan is trying to avoid us having this conversation, but it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And the first thing we're going to talk about is the Premier League.
Of course, so this is all the football we're going to cover because I didn't write down anything for the other leagues. But the Premier League started off with Bournemouth in a game I watched a bit of because it was at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Yeah. Beat Fulham 3-1.
Semenyo's getting picked up by a big team at the end of the year.
Semenyo was insane. 2 great goals from him, and even Justin Kluivert's goal was insane. So a great win for Bournemouth and a great win for my fantasy team. As Leeds almost get a point out of Spurs at home, going down 2-1. I also watched a bit of this game because it was on after the All Blacks game. Yeah. And my God, the Ellen Road crowd is insane. It is like the most...
Is it nuts as in crazy nuts?
Vocal. As very vocal. Very vocal. Always hear them on the screen. Spurs were playing well, but Leeds were playing well as well. Arsenal, what they needed, solid 2-0 whenever the now Nuno-controlled West Ham team. Standard game for Arsenal. They just needed, to not fall under pressure because other teams in the top have been, tripping over themselves. Man United, not one of those teams. My co-worker who supports United could not believe that they have a goalkeeper who has a brain cell in their team. Sin Lemons gets his first start and they win 2-0. He's comfortable catching a ball. He's comfortable.
Is this Man U?
This is Man U.
Sunderland's still very impressive though, even though they lost this game 2-0.
Yeah, they're still a very solid team to be recently promoted. I think Grant Xhaka has added such an awesome element. But I can't believe he's been picked up by Sunderland. He went from Leverkusen to Sunderland.
Exactly.
Like he went from Arsenal, who were
Trying
to win the league,
which
to
Leverkusen,
where he won the league at Leverkusen undefeated and won more than just that. And then guys come to Sunderland, he's still the same player. Chelsea, narrow win for them. 95th minute winner from Stevo from Brazil, the 18-year-old wonder kid. 2-1 win for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Third loss in a row for Liverpool. I don't think it will be the first of many. they'll probably get back on their feet. There's probably a blip. If it's a bigger issue than that, then who knows what will happen. They spent a lot of money in the last transfer window.
It will be interesting.
They're currently Premier League champions, so they won't want to lose anymore.
Nope.
Newcastle, a routine 2-0 win for them over Nottingham Forest. Nick Waltmar scoring again. So
I saw this. He's the first Newcastle player to score a goal in all 3 of his first games. The only other one to do that, Shearer.
Yeah, of course.
So
good company to be in, especially for Newcastle.
True that.
Everton snatched Crystal Palace's win streak. They won 2-1 thanks to a last gasp Jack Grealish goal, who won't be eligible for his team's next game because it's against his parent club, Man City. So that's a bit of a shame. Because
is that how that works?
Most loans, I think, if you can't play against the team you're loaned from.
There you go. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Aston Villa, another win for them after a slow start, 2-1 over Burnley. Wolves and Brighton play out a 1-1 draw, and Man City get a narrow win over Brentford 1-0. Don't have other games written down here, but I assume as in for next week, but I assume there's some good games. Moving on to the Rugby Championship.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong. It's an international break.
It might be international break.
Yeah.
Because New Zealand are playing Poland this Friday at 7:45, and Norway, I assume, on Monday or Tuesday early morning as well. So keep an eye out for those games as well. And also, the New Zealand under-20s team knocked out of the U20 World Cup after losing to Japan 3-0 as Egypt got a last gasp shock win over Chile, the hosts, 2-1 to put us down to 4th, which meant we couldn't qualify via the 3rd spot. It's a shame, but with these tournaments they are unforgiving, but they're there for experience.
But also at the same time, our captain, and I can't believe he's still under 20s, Lucas Kelly-Heald, is called up to the All Whites.
Yes, he's been there before, but due to other injuries, he's back in the squad. So you're good to see him there. I mean, he's just came back from Chile. Now he's going all the way to Europe, and the A-League season starts in a couple of weeks. So
I was about to say, that's going to be a tired guy.
A lot of miles for the young lad.
True that.
As we move on to the Rugby Championship, the final game, which was a 2 a.m. kickoff on Sunday morning, I somehow watched the first half an hour of this. South Africa versus Argentina in London, and Argentina definitely got out to a strong game here. Cannon Moody was sent off very early on a yellow, and possibly should have been sent off again for a knock-on.
So what was the yellow? It was the original yellow for?
Original yellow was a shit tackle, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But the yellow he didn't get given, or it was
deliberate.
Was a deliberate knock-on, and I think you'd say it was probably a deliberate.
Yeah.
And if he was off, it would have changed the course of the game completely. You'd think, maybe not, because I think Argentina did go down and then came back near the end.
Yeah.
Narrowly losing by 2 points, 29-27, because of their superior points difference, despite the fact we were level on points. South Africa had a much better points difference than us. Does help when you do put a lot of your games against Australia, very high scoring, and you got massive wins over both us and Argentina.
True.
But you would say that South Africa were 2 points away from not winning the Rugby Championship.
Yeah.
Because those 2 points are gone. It's a draw. New Zealand wins it. But I'm not going to discredit that. South Africa played very well in this tournament. You'd probably say they're the most consistent team in this tournament because we obviously had our fuck-ups against both Argentina and South Africa.
Yes,
we won both games against Australia. South Africa, they, probably played a bit. They're probably more consistent despite the fact they did not play well at all in the first test against us, and also in the Australia games they were still kind of clicking, it felt like.
True.
But you'd probably still say they played more consistently because we did end up losing 2 games as well. But same record, same points, but deserving winners South Africa. But I don't want anyone to say they're the most dominant team the world has ever seen, because I don't think you can say you're dominant if you're losing 2 games in a Rugby Championship. And also, most dominant team because they won 2 World Cups in a row. The only team in World Cup history to lose games in a World Cup. So I wouldn't call that dominant. Will not call that dominant at all if you're losing games in a World Cup, because it never happened before South Africa did.
But they are the team right now. I think we have to admit that.
I almost want to say there is no team right now, but I think I'm resigned to saying that if there is a team right now, it's South Africa. And I think a lot of it does, however, come from the one win over New Zealand being as big as it was, and also being World Cup champions, because
which we have to take on the chest.
We will take on the chin. We got smashed. It was a horrendous game. But I'm interested to see what happens on this Northern Tour, because they will play some heavy hitters. If they sneak a loss, then and if New Zealand somehow stay undefeated, they're calling it a Grand Slam in the media, so I'm calling it a Grand Slam. Just the fact that Ireland games in Chicago. Yeah, I think again probably won't be able to make the call who's the better team after the Northern Tour. We'll change it to New Zealand because again we wouldn't have played each other. Next year we'll see what happens in South Africa.
This series is going to be interesting. But what's also I think more interesting is that the Rugby Championship was really good this year, and now all of a sudden it's gone. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of neutrals are saying for the first time it was really although last year I don't think it was too. South Africa did win both games against us, and we did lose to Argentina. But I think this year was because it could have been that all the teams finish on 3 wins and 3 losses, but obviously it was the last game of the season where us and South Africa picked up that extra win to cement ourselves in that top 2. As we move on to Formula 1, which I didn't pay too much attention to, and I can't imagine you did as well, but they were in Singapore, and George Russell got the pole and ended up finishing the race first.
Yes, sir.
So good for him, although McLaren have won the Constructors' Championship already. So that's done. In terms of qualifying, Verstappen second, Piastri third, Antonelli finished fourth, Hadjar 8th, Behrman 9th, Lawson 12th after both Williams cars were disqualified. In the race itself, Verstappen kept second and Norris jumped from 5th to 3rd, Piastri finishing 4th, and some other people of note. Sainz finished 10th, Albon finished 14th, and Lawson 15th. Can't tell you when the next Grand Prix is, but I assume it's possibly in North America. You can.
I'm going to bring up the trusty F1 app.
I'm pretty sure.
And you, sir, have made a beautiful, what's it called?
Prediction.
Prediction. It is in the United States.
So it's Austin.
It is, yes. I believe it is.
It'll be Austin. Yeah, well, yeah. Because we've had Miami, right?
It doesn't say. It only. This is so stupid. Put where it is, man.
What does it say?
It says the Formula 1 MSC Cruisers United States Grand Prix.
It's Austin. Because Miami's Miami and Las Vegas is Las Vegas.
Yes.
So that is the Circuit of the Americas, and then we'll have Mexico, I think, the week after that.
Yes.
And then Brazil?
Yep, and then Las Vegas is after that.
And then we have
Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, and then Qatar and Abu Dhabi to end it.
That's right. That's the F1 calendar.
Yes, sir.
As we move on to the final piece of the podcast, and the NFL is still underway and still some great results, and a very interesting NFL coming our way this season. Last week, the Monday night games or Tuesday afternoon games, which again, not the biggest teams involved, but the Dolphins beat the Jets 27-21, and the Broncos smacked the Bengals 28-3.
So what happens when Joe Burrow is injured?
Yep. And Thursday night football, Friday afternoon here, the Rams go down at home. Well, not really a home game because of all the San Francisco 49ers fans who made the trip to LA. They get the win 26-23. And in London, the Vikings get a win after losing the CouchSide Derby last week to your Steelers, beating the Browns. Pick up Carson Wentz, 21-17 win. The Jets go down to the Cowboys, 22-37. The Broncos get 2 big wins for them. Beat the Bengals last week, obviously without Joe Burrow, but they beat the Eagles 21-17. Lamar Jackson still out for the Baltimore Ravens as they were smashed by the Texans 44-10. And one of the Texans, I think, wideouts, or one of their attacking players, what's his name? The old Ravens players' typical celebration.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis' celebration.
It was Ray Lewis's entrance.
Entrance, and one of the Ravens players kind of tried to start a fight over it. But I mean,
as to be, and I won't lie,
they lost by 34.
As he should. He should stand up for his team.
I mean, Ray Lewis doesn't play for them anymore.
I'm not saying you should fight people, by the way.
No.
But when there's somebody disrespects you, you've at least got to do something about it. So.
Unfortunately, the power of Jackson Dart and Cam Scatbo was not enough for the Giants. Two of the most viral players this season so far. They go down to the Saints to get their first win of the season. And by one of my friends of the podcast, Chris, had to tell me that Spencer Rattler is the first New Orleans Saints quarterback to be drafted by the New Orleans Saints to win a game for the New Orleans Saints since 1998.
Yes.
Insane stat. Yep. Just shows you.
Because they had Drew Brees for years, who was drafted by the Chargers.
Who they traded.
Did they trade or did they free agent signing?
Oh, I don't know, actually. That's good.
Something along. I think it might have been a free agent signing.
I think it might have been free agency.
Yeah.
At the Colts, still looking good. Daniel Indiana Jones.
Dark horse. I will say,
I
Colts, dark horse candidate, man.
I think they have to be at this point. Like, we've only lost one game, and Daniel Jones looks to be the deal. 40-6 win over the Raiders. The Panthers, narrow win for them over the Dolphins, 27-24.
Yep.
The Seahawks Bucks. I watched a bit of a game. Well, it was in the background at work. I had a lot of work today. It was in the background. This game was back and forth.
Yeah, man.
Oh my goodness, Baker Mayfield to Ibuka. That is a cheat code of a combination.
Tough.
Rookie wide receiver. Obviously, Baker Mayfield's been the man.
Yeah.
38-35 win for the Bucks.
Baker Mayfield, I'm not going to say it yet, and this has been a conversation on multiple different NFL things.
Yeah.
Could Baker Mayfield be an MVP candidate?
Oh, absolutely. Right team, right circumstances. Yeah. Absolutely, he could.
I still think there's a little bit of time to tell. I won't say
he doesn't have that much time left. Oh, actually, no, I say that. How long?
It's early in the season, bro.
For this season specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If the Bucks only finish with a couple of losses and he's throwing darts and he's got guys like Luka,
then I would say yes. Then
this is going to sound really bad
yes.
to me. Is Mike James still on the Bucks?
Mike, you mean Mike James or Mike Evans?
Mike Evans.
Yes,
not Mike
absolutely.
James. Mike Evans. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I forgot.
That dude is a consistency cheat code too.
Yeah, you have him on. Yeah, it's crazy. The Titans have a win, and it was on. What happened? And it was because of one of the most craziest touchdowns I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Where, I think it got in. Someone, basically, the ball spilled out.
Yes.
After a fumble or something into the end zone. And they just patted it down and scored.
Yeah.
One of the touchdowns of all time. And then the Commanders, a decent one for them over the Chargers. Not great for the Chargers, but good for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, 27-10.
Yeah.
And the Lions get the win over the Bengals at 37-24. And this isn't here, but I remember the Pats beat the Bills.
They did, 23-20.
They just got Derek Made. Is that his first name?
Drake.
They
just got Drake Made.
They just got Drake Made.
Pats
will be happy to have a capable quarterback being able to beat good teams because it's been a while for them.
Yeah. I believe that also means, if I'm not mistaken, there is no more undefeated teams this season already.
No.
Because the Bills were undefeated up until that point.
That makes it very interesting now. Who's going to hold on to just one or two losses for the whole season?
And I'm going to talk about this specifically. My Steelers.
Your Steelers.
Who had the bye this week. But look, I know Steelers fans are going to think this, but the Steelers' next two games are against the Browns and the Bengals. The Browns have struggled, and the Bengals are minus Joe Burrow. Somehow the Ravens, no excuses, are 1-4. Without a 1-4, and they have Lamar out for the next game as well.
Yeah,
I believe. If we end up beating the Browns and the Bengals, we will be 5-1. The Bengals will be still under 500, and the Browns and Ravens will be under 500. That is an insurmountable amount of games to catch up
also,
on.
Crazy how you guys are playing two divisional rivals back to back.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? In last season, we didn't play a division rival until week 11.
What, so you played like three of them and then the same three of them again?
Yeah, pretty much.
You played them twice.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll play the Browns and the Bengals, but if we end up winning both those games, we're going to be 5-1.
Yeah, and you win your division at that, right?
That's a winning division rate, but I'm going to say this because I am also a realistic Steelers fan. I try and be a realistic sports fan. We are still the team that goes 10-7 and loses in the first round.
Exactly.
And I've seen good things, don't get me wrong. The Vikings game, unfortunately, I have to say it.
It's fine, mate.
I have to say it, but we showed some great signs there right up until 7 minutes to go. But at the same time, I don't think there's the signs yet of it being the Steelers can win another game in the playoffs and get to the conference championship or the divisional round or stuff like that. I personally still need to see more.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if we're 5-1 and the Ravens end up being 1-5 or 1-6, oh my God, how the Ravens are going to catch that up.
Oh, I think they'll struggle.
I think Lamar being out does affect a lot, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But even then, that's in...
They're already 1-3, so
they're already 1-4.
But before Lamar was fully out, they were 1-3.
Exactly.
So
It's got the AFC North is shaping up to be interesting, but
I think the whole league is to an extent as well. But
also, the AFC, I'm just looking at this now. I'm just looking at the divisions. The AFC West is going to be really, really close. Chargers 3-2, Broncos 3-2.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are 2-2. They play the Jags for Monday night / Tuesday afternoon football, and the Raiders are 1-4. So the Raiders, we can say, pretty much out.
But those three teams.
But those three teams, tough.
Hey, the Jags, do it.
Do it for the boys.
Do it for the boys.
Do it for the culture. Also, oh my God, NFC West, 49ers 4-1, Seahawks and Rams are both 3-2.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are 2-3.
Yeah.
There's some close divisions here. I'm liking how it's shaping up. We'll see how the season goes on.
I hope to see two different teams in the Super Bowl this time around. Give me the Bills and give me the Lions. Like I'd like to see that. I don't want to see the Eagles. I don't want to see the Chiefs.
We did make our predictions,
and at this point, we're not going to see the Ravens. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is the early start to the season. Teams can catch up, but I'm liking the position the Steelers are in. But the Steelers are winning Steeler-like games, and I think we need to win games slightly more dominantly for me to say, okay, maybe we can, win. You go to the divisional and maybe win a game there, or we'd have to have a lot work out for us.
Hey, if you guys win the Super Bowl, fair play.
I'll tell you what.
I don't think you will.
No, I don't think so.
It's not going to happen.
That would be sick. But I'll tell you what, the AFC North Division, if we can win these next two games, or even one of the two games, to be honest, because I'll be real with you. Yes, the Browns are not very good. The Bengals, without Joe Burrow, are not very good at the moment. But when it comes to divisional games, especially in the NFL, bro,
they turn it
up. Teams turn it up. So we're going to have to turn it up. But if we end up 5-1, that gives us a pretty good cushion if the Ravens, Browns, and Bengals keep losing.
Or you end up 3-3, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point. That'll probably be more Steelers, to be honest.
Well, on that bombshell, that ends a very quick episode of the CouchSide Sports Report this week. And thank you for joining us once again. You do have something to say, I know.
On this recording right now,
yes,
we're going to decide, because we're going to level with you guys. We're going to level with the people.
We're tired.
We're both tired and busy as frickers.
Yeah.
So we're going to decide right now, and by decide I mean Simon, because Simon hates making decisions, and he's going to make a decision right now.
You hate making decisions too.
No, but I just make them. You will go.
Well, on that, the CouchSide Sports Report will be taking a break at least next week. We might decide to take a break the week after.
I was going to ask you,
see.
Do we make that decision right here?
We don't make that call now, but we'll let you guys know we're not coming back.
Yeah, man.
So, unfortunately, don't expect an episode up next Tuesday. Yeah. We will be living it up. Where we usually
we'll be living it up at work, being really busy.
It's not like we're going to be going to Cancun or whatever, like the New York Yankees are about to.
No, we're going to go to Galveston.
We're going to go to Galveston for whatever reason.
With that dirty water.
Probably.
Just me quoting Charles Barkley. I love that guy, man.
But we will be taking a much needed break, but we'll be back because the All Blacks don't play till November. The NRL season is finished. The NPC is entering the playoffs, which will be back for the final. The Farah Palmer Cup is done. Locally, you really only have basketball to talk about right now before the All Blacks stop.
How awful.
I know. How awful.
Stuff you.
There's obviously the Premier League and the NFL and the F1, but we can talk about that another week.
You'll probably see more international sport come up because it's going into their winter and our summer. So you'll probably see a lot more of that. But
the summer episodes here are going to be really interesting. So
we'll probably take a break through that as well.
Oh yeah, we will absolutely. But when we're back, it will still be a little bit island time,
Yeah, true.
But thank you so much for joining. Yeah, follow us everywhere if you can, whether it's here on Spotify or YouTube, whatever, when you're listening, or you click our link tree in the bio. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever we have accounts that I've probably forgotten about. Unless you have anything else to say.
I'm good. We will see you guys after our week or 2 week break. But with that being said, you got anything else to say?
I don't have anything else to say apart from our one little thing we like to say at the end of this podcast.
That's very true. And before that, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
And why don't you hit us off with it, mate?
Oh well, as the great Dylan Courtney used to say every time, but now I get to say it occasionally. It's CouchSide out.
CouchSide out.